well, I don't know how to say this, but you know how you meet one person and it can change your life forever? That's kind of what happened with John Warlick. And I mean, I know. You don't even want to be in here for this. But it's like, he is the fastest talking Southern gentleman that I've ever met, isn't he? Right? And he's got a heart of gold. And I remember when I first would go in there, I would have to record the stuff, and I would take notes, and, and I'd go home and I'd listen to the things he said because he spoke so fast, and then I would check my notes, and I'm like, oh, I wrote that wrong, and I wrote this wrong. But I got to tell you my story, because my story is really, I was living a dream. I built this chiropractic office in my hometown of 12,000 people, and I saw 300 people a week, and I was living the dream. And then one day, I had a patient, 350 pounds, I still remember it, second to last patient of the day, and he went into a spasm, and we're on a higher table, I was doing this therapy, and he fell off. And I grabbed him, and it dislocated my right arm, and popped out of socket, tore ligaments in my wrist. I saved him from falling, went back into my office, popped it in, finished the last two patients, and then went into shock, right? Thank God, a good buddy of mine, was Olaf Lieberg, was my orthopedic. I went down there, we took x-rays. We were more worried about my wrist. And come to find out, I had detached my labrum, torn ligaments in my wrists, and I went from who's who as a chiropractor, who's that, to who cares, okay? Life can change like that. And I always say, be nice to the people on the way up, because you see them on the way down. And, I had to sell both my clinics in New York, moved down to where my wife's from in Atlanta, and started over. I was Isabella, Emma, and Annalea's dad. I was the guy that was dropping them off at school and picking them up. And I remember, the good thing is I had this wonderful disability policy. So I didn't have to work till I was 65. And I was like, oh, well, great. And then one of my buddies said to me, we're out to dinner, he goes, what are your kids going to tell their friends that their dad does? And I go, oh, I don't know. That's a good idea. So fast forward to 2017, and I'm living with pain in my wrist after a failed botched surgery. And for literally 10 years, every waking hour, I had a pain level of 5. So I could no longer adjust, manipulate. I couldn't ride a bike, any type of extension. I couldn't swing a golf club. I wasn't that good anyways, but I just couldn't swing. And then, I had a couple people in the same week or 2 weeks that said, hey, you should try SoftWave on your wrist. And I was like, what the hell is SoftWave? And I remember my wife went to high school with John, and my brother-in-law wrestled with him, and my brother was like, yeah, this guy's got this thing, it's supersonic sound waves, I think it can help you. And I was like, that's bull, you go, and I say there is like this 5 stages of enlightenment when you find this technology. Number 1, it's like, you're a skeptic, like BS. Right? And at the time, I had retired, and I was working as the functional rehab department at Life University. The largest chiropractic college in the world. We had over $200,000 of cold lasers, ultrasound, dry needling. Nothing touched my wrist, the pain. And so through one of John Mullen's friends, and he's also an investor, John Whaley, he drove me up here. And it was actually in Woodstock. And you'd walk in, the building was like half lawyer, half crazy scientist in the back, And I remember going in, and I want you to kind of close your eyes for a second and just picture yourself. Okay, just close your eyes. It was April 19th, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and this guy, this little kind of Jedi Yoda dude, is telling me all this stuff and how he's going to help me, and all of a sudden, he starts working on me, and the pain is intense, and I'm swearing, and I'm saying dirty words, and he's like, the more pain you have, the better outcomes you're gonna get, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to stick with this. But you know, I want you to open your eyes now and kind of figure out, like, listen to what happens now. Because, yeah, you can start playing that, because I think it's, yeah, perfect. So, all of a sudden, this pain is gone. Now, this is this constant companion I'd had for 10 years. And all of a sudden, it's gone. And I remember, like, getting in the car, calling my wife and going, I don't know what just happened. This must be what a placebo feels like, because I have no pain. And I just couldn't figure it out. My whole paradigm of the way healing had been flipped upside down. And I just couldn't understand it. But for the next 2 days, it was the first time I'd had pain relief for 10 years. And I was like, my mind was racing, and like, if this just helped me reverse 10 years of pain, how many more people can we help? Right? I come from a motto: to give, to love, to serve. You know, that's what they taught us at chiropractic college, and that's kind of what I was thinking. And I kind of felt like Ray Kroc. If you know the story of Ray Kroc, when he meets the McDonald brothers, and he's like, takes a bite of that hamburger, and he's like, man, this should be in every town in America, right? And he went on to do that. And that's kind of how I felt when I met the Warlick brothers. Is like, man, these guys have an identity crisis. Nobody knows what the hell this thing is or what it does. And I was pretty good on a local level at marketing clinics and working for different doctors and things like that. But I knew that one thing I understood from day one is facts tell. And you guys have had a lot of facts and data this week, like almost to the point where it's spewing. I can see it coming out of your ears, right? Facts tell, stories sell. And, you know, one of the things I want to say is it going? Because this is kind of like a PowerPoint. But you should hit play. There, no, go up and you should hit play. See that button there? No. Oh, is that it? Okay, you can't hear it then. So what you're seeing here is my first treatment. And I documented it. If you could hear it, you would hear me screaming and yelling. So that's that one. But, you know, one of the things I realized after using this technology, I would come home and I'd say to my wife, Sherry, oh my God, you wouldn't believe this. This lady came in a walker and we did, 3 minutes of SoftWave on both her feet, and she walked out like this. And my wife said, did you record it? And I said, no. She goes, no, I don't believe it. Start recording it. So it was like, that's one of the things that I prepare our doctors, is how to not just do a treatment, but also how to document it in really a video case history. And I think that's been the secret to our success, as our patients' stories, their success stories, really tells the history of SoftWave. Okay? All right, so let's go to the next one. Oh, it's up, it's working. Good. Next. Okay. There it is. So I will never stop educating, because all I see is possibilities. And there's a famous quote, but who knew light and sound would be the new drug? If we had music, it would be like, I want a new drug, one that doesn't make me sound, right? But this is it. And one of the founders or developers of chiropractic, B.J. Palmer, has a famous quote: educate the masses, charge them for the education, give them the adjustment for free. Okay? This is John Warlick quote. Charge them for the ultrasound gel and paper towels, give them the SoftWave for free. Okay? So, I started with the end in mind. I had a vision that I wanted to see this everywhere. The Ray Kroc, he put McDonald's in every city in America, and it had a negative impact on the health of our country, right? This is going to have a positive impact. John loves to say the McSoftWave model, and it's really been something that we've been working on for years. But, after 25 years of being a chiropractor at the point that I found this, or 23 years, I just felt like this thing gave me X-ray vision. right? So if you know and understand the anatomy of the body, and you're using this, and you could say, okay, right here is your transverse ligament. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, now I'm going up the bicep. Oh, okay. So now we have an idea where we can really focus on where the true source of pain is coming from. And I'm not going to get technical. I'm going to teach you how a call flow should go for a discovery call, or when you're knocking on that door and pounding on these doctors' offices. Again, I thought it would be good. I thought and I started posting immediately 7 years ago, and you can watch the progression over the last 6 years, but I have thousands of pre and post videos out there. And my thought was, my little demented brain, is that, oh, if we post enough of these, you know, the Today Show will call me and say, hey, come on in and let's get this on our, you know, let's take in this next patient and let's talk about this wonderful device. But what I realized was, you know, I thought the media would find us organically. And what I'm realizing is that it's not how good a product is. It's not how many people's lives we're going to save or save from having amputation. The people who get the attention are the ones who spend the most amount of money. Okay? And if you are watching TV, which most of us do, there's, you know, the pharmaceutical company spends over $9 billion a year on marketing. That's what we're up against. You know, if you watch any bit of NFL football, it's like every third commercial is for erectile dysfunction. Do you notice that? I'm starting to think the more you watch NFL football, the more likely you'll have to develop it. Well, thank God we have a preventative ED, so we'll be talking about that next. So this is really, Liz said, this is the title she gave me, How to Sell SoftWave. But it's really how to educate, because that's what it is. It's really about letting people know about this. The whole regenerative field is consumer-driven. People are tired of taking drugs, medication, narcotics. Oh my God, who's the next superstar that accidentally overdosed on an opioid, right? Tom Petty, Prince, Michael Jackson. You can go back as far as Elvis Presley, right? It's just been happening over the years. And you know, people have this mentality that they run to their medicine cabinet and they take a drug or pill to fix themselves. One of the things you have to understand, and what I love about my philosophy where I came from, is that the body is an amazing self-healing, self-regulating, self-maintaining organism. And if given the right input, it creates a wonderful result and positive outcomes. So it doesn't just start by selling. You know, I don't want, when I speak to my doctors, and I do at least a Wednesday class, a lot of you guys, Jimmy, thank you for always being there. You know, one of the things I want to do is, I don't want to just train you to speak to your patients. I want to train you to speak to the world. Do you understand that? The impact that we have. And don't think that I wasn't sitting out there and that's the seats. And I know how hard it is. You know, people see the success. They don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that John and the rest of us have gone through. You know, I can go back to May of 2018 when a lot of our team and employees, I was on commission, so it didn't matter to me, but we had to cut what we were paying everybody by 50%. And John came to me and Robert and a couple other people and said, hey, listen, if we don't make a sale in June 2018, we are done. Done, D-O-N-E. And you know, we're all here because of that man's vision. And he knew this was a better technology. And people don't get behind like movements. They get behind the people that are pushing that movement, and that's what John was. And my whole goal, yes, to prove him wrong a lot of the times, but also to make this more accessible and affordable to people. And so we were at a cross point. We were really, as a company, like, what do we do? And at the same time, I had gone 11 months and spoke to over 110 doctors, and everyone said no. wow, you're swimming upstream, kid. You got a big thing to try to bring a new medical device to market. They'd say, DiDuro, if this is as good as you say it is, why isn't it everywhere? I'd say, well, that's our mission. That's what we're going to do. It got so bad. I mean, I remember I took a couple $1,000s out of our savings. I flew to Seattle. I got a chance to demo this to doctors, 6 doctors. There was 4 doctors that owned 6 clinics in Seattle. And they were a multi-million-dollar group, and they had a private equity group that was looking to buy them. And I came out to pitch them this. And I'm like, John, I'm going to sell 6 devices this weekend. Yeah! And I go out there, and I demo it, and I treat the doctors and a couple of the staff people, and they're like, this is amazing. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, let me pull out my order form here. And they go, oh, but you know what? We can't use modalities here in Washington. I was like, right? Now I got to go back. And I remember checking that thing in at the airport, and they charged me an extra $230 for my $950 flight that I was going out there and my $400 hotel. So I know what it's like. And I had to come back, and I took a picture of myself on the train, and I just like, this is what rejection looks like. But, you know, I got home. I'm not kidding you. My family had an intervention for me. They said, you know, maybe you need to give this pipe dream up. Maybe you need to go back. Your wrist works. Go back. Be a chiropractor. You're a damn good chiropractor. Let the professionals handle this. But you know that little thing in your brain that's just that voice that says, don't stop. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than each one of us. And I kept going. And, you know, I've got this, and we got the company might shut down. And I said, John said, if you have any deals that are close, let's do it. Let's try to make it work. John sold one. Robert sold one. I sold one. We're like, okay, we're going to keep the lights on for July. August, we sold 7. Right? And we were onto something. And I was like, I could feel the momentum. And we start tracking the data on these clinics that we put this in, especially the chiro clinics. Chiros are like OCD about stats. They live and die by how many patients they see per week, okay? They don't care. It's like when we were young and we were trying to bench 200 pounds or whatever it is, right? When we see a chiropractor, we're like, yeah, how you been? How you doing? How many visits you see in a week, all right? How much you bench, right? So that's what I want you to think about, and know where we come from, right? Because history is everything. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that we did along the way. I don't. And you should live from that. And many of you, I'm sorry if I hadn't got a chance to meet all of you, but please, you know, I'm available. I want to help. All I want to do is get this to the masses, okay? So it starts with a script. Okay? And the greeting. And this is a 2-minute. This is just like, you know, every time you've gone into like, hey, I'm going to get a job, or I'm going to hopefully get a loan from the bank. You know, this is the 2-minute rule they talk about. And these are where people are sizing you up, right? And really what you're trying to find out is you find commonalities. What are likenesses, right? And it doesn't matter so much if they like you. They have to know you like them, that you have their back, that you are going to support them and make sure that you're going to protect them from all the other competitors out there. Because I want to connect with people. Other people, they want to connect with people. They're con men. A lot of them. I'm serious. And I like to name and shame. And not everybody else. Everybody else is like, don't say that, man. Don't say that. No. Like, I have been on this planet for 57 years, and, you know, what you see is what you get. That's really what I want to say. And I don't have time to pussyfoot around with stuff. So take notes, right? Where do they live? How big is their city? I'm surprised when I talk to doctors who don't even know how many people are in their freaking town. That's such an important part of how successful they're going to be. And what I love most about this technology is predictable patient outcomes. I know if I put this in Tupelo, Mississippi, or Santa Cruz, California, or Destin, Florida, that these patients get better. And now, after doing this 1,000 times, right, we've placed this in over 1,000 chiropractic offices. We have, and the algorithms are in my head, I'm sorry, but it's like a 5-star call. And basically it's like, how long has that guy practiced? Well, 15 or 20 years, boom, boom, 2 stars. Where does he practice? Oh, he's in Birmingham, Alabama. There's 250,000 people. Boom, boom, boom. There's no SoftWave providers. Boom, 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 more stars. How many people you see a week? I see 175 people a week. Bing, bing, bing. Why am I doing this? Because in my brain, I'm figuring out how fast this doctor on the other line is going to pay this off. And that's all they care, right? And some people, and John gets mad at me, but you know, I had this one guy from North Carolina call me last year, and he's like, he's in his truck, and I can hear him. He's like, hey, I don't have a lot of time. I'm a busy man, so just let's get to the chase, cut to the chase. How much is this? And I said, well, hey, Doc, I'm like this ADHD dyslexic kid from New York, right? So if you don't want to see a mad Italian, let's start this conversation over, okay? Because what you should be asking me is how many more people you're going to help. So let's just get that straight right from the beginning. And that guy was just like, click. And John's like, give me his number. I'll make the sale. I can talk to him. I'm like, no, John. What you have to understand is this isn't for everyone. We're not going to sell to every person with a pulse. We're not Coca-Cola. We don't have to sell a soft drink to everybody with a parched throat. Okay? We're looking for a few good men, women, doctors that can help us on this mission. So I want you to think that way. And we are in this level, and there's going to be people that have to buy at this level. And that's fine. So I create this 5-star kind of list as I'm going through it. So where they practice, how big the city is, and in my mind, you know, and then I get really excited. I was like, oh, I see 350 people a week. And I'm just on the other side of the phone going, oh, yes. Because I'm like, dude, do you know we're going to pay this off in 60 days? What? And then that's how I get them kind of fired up. Because everyone from Business 101 should realize any business opportunity or venture that you can pay off in the first year is pure gravy going forward. I call it the golden goose concept, right? So this $80,000 device, and if you can pay it off in 90 days or 110 days or 6 months or 3 months, who cares? Every day, this thing plops out a little golden egg that's worth $1,200. Every day, on average, every day, every day, every day. Now, they already have a successful clinic. This is just an added profit center. And I want them to understand that. And again, I'm going to throw up little slides along the way, but this is Jason Inman. I collected $4,800 in the first week, and I don't even have it. Like, I don't even have it yet. It sells itself. It is, in 30 years of healthcare, it is the only thing that I've ever seen that has the highest patient case acceptance. It sells itself. And the way we create that opening discovery day is key. The way we launch the training day is key, right? And I tell them, I'm like, and I guess I'll show it in here in a second. I explain to him, you know, after you get through the small talk and you've got your notes and you're figuring out and you're putting your little stars next to or asterisks to what's good with this clinic and this town he's in, then I say, well, you know, this is genuine lithotripsy. This is the same technology they've used for 40 years to break up kidney stones, biliary stones, salivary stones with an 85% success rate. It's using supersonic sound waves that travel over 3,355 miles an hour and can penetrate the depth of a soup can into your body. It's working on a cellular level, and it's helping really reboot your body's own natural healing ability. And then I talk about how, you know, this helps decrease pain, improve circulation. I give them some of the cool science. I talk about how we have over 25 papers that show we activate stem cells within minutes of treatment. Half of those are animal, half are human. But I said, what makes this a billion-dollar technology is that we help downregulate inflammation. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, you know, a lot of this stuff I learned from my mentor, John Warlick. But I say, you know, the holy grail in pharmacology has been, for the last 50 years, who can come up with the best drug, the best pill, the best shot that can help stop inflammation, right? The best thing we have up to this point is called cortisone. Who's had a cortisone injection? Yes. Do you know when I was growing up, we were only allowed 3 cortisone shots in our lifetime? Now you're only allowed 3 in your a year. Now, cortisone is a catabolic. It breaks things down, okay? And there's 33 negative side effects to cortisone. And the top 3 are, it weakens your immune system, it can increase the risk of osteoporosis or osteopenia in the area you're doing it, and it can accelerate degeneration in the joint that you're injecting. Isn't that crazy? Do you know a general surgeon, and doc, tell me if I'm wrong, but a general surgeon should not do surgery on a patient for 3 months. Is that correct? After a cortisone check, right? He's a real doctor. I'm just a chiropractor. So this is what I do. That's the pitch that I give them. That's my 30-second elevator. And I hope you wrote that down. No, we have it recorded. I'm just kidding. But you have to figure out what works for you. I can give you the guidelines and tell you, this isn't going to have sound. It won't. Let's go back to that. How do we do that? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Can we go back to the young lady that was sitting there? This was just 2 weeks ago today. And I have thousands of them. I just don't know how to get them to Laura. She wants them all. So, Denise, we just finished 400 pulses. Come on up. Why don't you come on up, see how you feel. And we want to record your first few steps.
Oh my gosh.
No, what? What do you mean? Why? Isn't that cool? 7 years. 7 years she's been having pain.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. This is why I go all over the country to do this.
It feels like I'm light.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It feels like there's nothing there.
Do you know Dr. Rob said you're one of the people he bought this for? It's pretty cool. So why is that important? Professional rock climber has an injury, had to have surgery, spinal fusion, and for 7 years she's living in pain. And the reason why I even started videotaping in the first place, we're in the hallway, and if you can watch the full thing on my YouTube page or Facebook, but she's sitting there, she's this beautiful 48-year-old woman. We're all excited because her daughter had just had a baby, so she's a grandma that morning. And she's like, you know, it's been a good day. I had to use my walker. Remember that, was it Ice Cube? It was a good day. I didn't have to use my AK. Right? So this was how I felt. And I put songs together when I'm seeing, it's a weird way my brain works, I'm sorry. But that's what I thought. And I said, wait, can you? So I recorded that part. I made her say that over. But then this was real. And this happens all the time. When I started kind of moving up in the company, you know, one of the things I said to Alan, and I said, Alan, one of the things I have to do is be able to still go out and train these clinics. It's essential for me because I get to show these doctors in real time. And when I'm on the phone with them, I'm like, Dr. Rob, I know it's a big ticket item. I know it's the sticker shock. I understand that, but think about how you can start transforming your community, right? I talk about the ROII. It's the return on impact in your community first, and then the return on investment. And some people get those flipped around, but I'm really good at keeping them on track. And so I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, Dr. Rob, Dr. Jessica is his wife. Listen, what I need you to start doing is start putting a list together. These people see 450 patients a week. I said, start putting a list together. I need you to gather 10 to 14 of the worst people in your practice. I need people with foot issues. I need people with knee issues, shin splints, turf toe, hip issues, tensor fasciolata, failed back surgery, shoulder issues, elbow. It slices, it dices, it's a floor wax, it's a dirt topping. You know, it gets a little. You know, when you hear John Warlick talk, he'll make your head spin. But no. That's another thing. I don't listen to people. No, I'm sorry. Yes, I will, Laura. I like to be closer to the crowd. Okay. So we get them in the state of like, they start putting the list together. And I know I got a sale when they text me back the next day and say, hey, our staff has put 6 people together. When can we do our launch day? I haven't even written an invoice yet. See what I'm doing? See how I'm creating this effect? And you guys can do it too. And it's like, I am so confident in this technology. And we've been able to take this from, a couple different clinics to now over 1,200 clinics to 2,300 clinics worldwide. If you see my stuff, I'm always talking about what are we worldwide? Thank you, Roseanne, from Davide's company that makes us do that. But so that's what you want to do. You want to put this device in their practice and start letting them think about it. I was lucky enough to take care of Tyler Perry. And Tyler gave me a shout out because you never know how treating one patient can change the course of your life. Meeting one person, treating one person, and then what happens, okay? So Tyler Perry, my daughter Emma, some of you guys met last night, she was running one of our satellite clinics. And she called me one day, and she goes, hey, I think you need to be here next Tuesday. I'm like, why? She goes, well, we're taking care of a stunt woman. And she's on this, and this. And you need to see her. She's got a terrible limp, and she can't work, and she looks just like Angelina Jolie. I'm like, okay. So that Tuesday I was there, and I videotaped her walking. And I'm like, you're not getting much work, are you? No. So we did SoftWave, and I did like John Warlick. I did 1,500 pulses all over. And she gets off the table, and what do? I pick up my phone, boom, boom, and she walks without a limp. Like she was walking like John Wayne before, and then she's walking like Angelina Jolie again, okay? And she's like, wow, and she's screaming, and we have an office in this other busy clinic, and they're like coming looking around, what's going on over there? So what does she do? Like one thing I do with all my patients, and I'll sit with them, I'll talk to them, and I'll say, and I do it with doctors too, I'll say, Mrs. Smith, I look at your paperwork, it looks like you've been to doctor after doctor after doctor, and you haven't found any relief. So I have one rule here. And they go, yeah, what's that? I go, well, well, first one rule is no screaming, and then they laugh, and ha, 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 ha. And I said, no, the one rule is, if we're able to help you, all I ask that you tell others. Is that fair? Oh, yeah, I've already got my bridge partner. They're waiting. I'm the guinea pig. Okay, all right, Mrs. Smith, remember that. And then you go, tuk, 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 and they get up and like, oh, right? And I'm walking them up to the desk, and I said, Mrs. Smith, don't forget. Oh, no, I won't, so that's how you do it. And I do that same thing with the doctors. So Rob and Jessica, I said, Rob, I'm building this up. There's a lot of hype around this device. If this lives up to all the stuff and accolades we've talked about, I have one rule with you. And they say, what is that? And I say, you have to tell other doctors and peers. Well, I will. That guy had 3 other doctors He comes from a family of 42 chiropractors. You can talk to Kendall, our director of national training. I didn't want to go to that training. Did I, Kendall? No, I have a busy schedule. I don't want to go to Mooresville, North Carolina. But they kept calling and asking. I was like, all right, I'll go. They had 3 other chiropractors there. I guarantee you we sell 2 of those. One of them has a SoftWave, and she's going to flip. Because she's like, I've had it for a year and a half. I don't see this. So take care of Tyler. He gives me a shout out. He was scheduled to have surgery on his meniscus. He was 52 at the time. And Corinne sees him walking around with a cane on set. He owns a studio here. And she goes up, she's like, hey, I have got this doctor for you. He's got this device, and I think he can help you. He's like, listen, he's 6'4", 200 and something pounds, right? He goes, working with the Atlanta Hawks orthopedic. He says I have to have surgery. I'm sorry. No, I don't need your doctor. Okay, fine. The next day, he's got 2 canes. And he comes up, and he says, Corinne, what's the name of that doctor? I get a text, and I get a call from a 404 number, and I say, hey, I'm with patients. I was training in a clinic in Vista, California. And a text comes back, hey, Tyler Perry here. Hit me up on my cell when you're free. I was like, what, Tyler Perry? Tyler Perry? But he literally, stop. Please, you're about, I can't. So Tyler Perry, get to treat him. I'm working with him, and then all of a sudden, he pulls out his phone. He FaceTimes his agent and says, you're on. He says, boom. So I have 90 seconds to tell his agent about what this is. And I do it, and the guy says, next time you're in Beverly Hills, look me up. Well, I was actually going in 2 weeks, so we got out there. But that's a cool story. You just never know. Go over the science, the study. Show them that's movement in healthcare. I use Dr. Schaden and the Austrian workers' comp system. I put that up on a pedestal. That is one of the greatest healthcare systems right now. And if you're injured there, you can go anywhere else to get treatment if they don't offer it in Austria. Isn't that cool? And I don't know if Schaden told us yesterday, but he basically, 20 years ago, they brought our device in and they asked him to prove it as a sham, because all these workers from Austria were going into Germany to get treatments, and they were coming back with the bills, and the director of the workers' comp system said, hey, we don't want to pay these anymore. Let's show that this is fake. So they had 60 days, and after 30 days, Wolfgang went to his director and said, I can't work without this. And you heard his story yesterday, right? So it's amazing what happens, and I love stories sell. How big it is and how the dimensions, it's yellow, or that's nice, and people need it. And I've we've done this over 2,300 times. Our doctors who are doing, including advertising, generating, are doing over 27,000 per month. 27,000 times 12 is what? I know it because I say it every day, 5 times a day. It's $324,000. I'm like Rain Man when it comes to numbers. No, I'm just kidding. So I make sure they know that. Because number one, what we found in all our split tests and everything is doctors want to help more people. But secondly, they want to make more money. And new patients are the lifeline to any clinic. Isn't that right, Doc? Yes. It's the blood flow. It runs everything else. So this device is a new patient magnet, right? There's our numbers. How do you turn a $300,000 idea into a $3 million idea? You do it for 10 years. We are the tortoises in this race. Look at John and I and some of the other guys around here, right? We walk with a limp, we're gray hair, not enough hair, whatever. This is what we're looking for. This is the prize that these doctors want. Because They got into healthcare to help more people, but at the end of the day, sometimes they don't know if they're going to have enough money for retirement. They don't know. And this isn't just chiros. This is urologists, orthopedists. Insurance is changing. They're taking this away. So this is the cherry on the top to their already illustrious career, okay? You know, I was told I needed a knee replacement. I didn't want the painful surgery. They don't. I was looking for something to soothe the pain, then I found this place. I went in limping and in pain, and 15 minutes later, I walked out without pain. 8 months later, I still don't limp or have any pain. The staff is wonderful. I explained to them, you know, I've done this for the last 7 years. I've spoke to over 3,800 doctors. Over that time, I found out what keeps people up at night. And by the way, this discovery call takes 20 minutes, maybe 30. If we're moving towards a purchase. But they're all moving towards a purchase. They're all going to buy at some point. But I really hit them. After I've connected on some levels and, you know, oh, you went to school at this place. Oh, yeah, you know that guy. And then I say, hey, Bill, Dr. Bill, what's keeping you up at night? What are your pain points? What are your sticking points? And they start opening up to me. And they start telling me. And you know why? Because I have the solution. We have the solution. We have something that can help their patients avoid drugs and surgery and cortisone and joint replacements, help them heal faster, get their patients well, but also make their clinics financially stable. And they like that. And they tell others. So how long will they be able to keep doing the work they do? After building this trust, you know, I do that. I say that to them. And how will they grow? I said, well, what's your plan to change that? Right? Because I say this to my patients too. Do you want to go home, or do you want to get better? Well, I want to get better. Well, because if going home and not signing up for my care plan, that's you're going home to do the same thing you've done over and over. And what is that? That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome. So I let them know right there before they're leaving. I'm like, I want a commitment before you leave, because you walk out that door, you're no longer my patient. So I want to know. And I teach these doctors how to do this. So the way you grow a practice is you invest in marketing, you invest in people, you invest in coaching, you invest in technology. This is not an expense. Like, an expense is if you go buy your wife a new Lexus at Christmas and they put the big red bow. Has anybody ever done that? And you pull it out in front, like, what a cool dude this guy. I'm not doing that. But and then the wife comes out and, oh, thank you. That car just depreciated 15% when they pull off that lot. Guess what our device does? It's an appreciating asset. That's what I say. It just only makes, it's a golden goose. No, and I'm not stopping at 11. I'm going to keep going, Liz. No, I'm just kidding. I started late, so you better give me a little time.
You're okay, Matt. We're good until 11:15, but let's give it 5 minutes for questions before.
Yeah, absolutely. So pain reduced from an 8 to a 2. So before I worked for SoftWave, I ran a really successful clinic called ATL Pain Institute. We did over 900 new patients a year. Everything I've done in my life helped me get to this point to do it. And wearing 2 hats as a clinician, as a salesperson, as a marketer, that helps me, and I want to share that with you. But the average person that comes into our pain center is at a pain level of 8. And after 4 weeks, 6 sessions, they're down to a 3.5. When we track these patients for another year, they're down to a 2.5. God bless you. So this has a stable, long-term outcome. Isn't that cool? And if you listen to Dr. Shadden talk about Johannes Hochfield, who I call the Elon Musk of cardiac surgery, he's done 67 bypass surgeries, 3-minute procedure on the heart, and 1 year later, they have a 10% improvement in left ventricular ejection fraction. When I say that to doctors on the line, they're like, wow. I go, yeah, you should be buying this now. I don't even know why we're still talking. Let's get your invoice. You know, I kid with them and stuff, but that's the power of this thing. And again, we are a few group of people who know it. We need to share this. So top ways to grow the clinic, we've talked about this, invest in coaching, and I tell them, you know, I've consulted with hundreds of doctors, and I know how to build a clinic. And invest in their team. When they buy this device, like, I mean, not for nothing, but John was selling a box. Here it is. Here you go. See you later. I call it everything in the box. You just add humans. Okay? Just add humans and you see what happens. But we have everything, right? We teach them how to do the launch day. We have the paperwork. I mean, we have a wonderful team now that does all that back-end stuff to make sure this is successful. But of the 1,200 clinics that we've placed this in, I believe we've taken back 20 or 22 devices in the 7 years I've been here. That is a 99.5% stick rate. That means it's going to be successful. And I'm not into, well, let's do a 60-day trial. No. Why do I have to prove it to you? We've already done it 1,200 times. You just don't believe in yourself, but I believe in this device. You understand? So I let them know the technology and just add humans. Right now, and I say this to them, write this down. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to write it down. Right now, you have patients in your office who've been so loyal to you over the 2-3 decades that you've been there, and but still have underlying issues that conservative care hasn't been able to address. I let them know. They have people in their office that aren't getting better, but still come in. And they know it. I'm pulling the curtain and letting them know. Look at this. Look in the mirror. This is you. You want to change the world? Start with you first. Start with your practice. Get that in line. Folks, this is Professor Roger Everett's, it's his law of any new technology and how it's implemented. Okay? And it took the Warlick family 14 years, 16 years, 18 years to get to here. And this is just talking chiropractors. We have 1.5% of the chiropractic market. And I believe we're going to have 80% of it over the next 5 to 10 years. So when you get 2.5% of the innovators, and these are all innovators who are buying it, they're risk takers. You have to understand. But when their friends see how well they're doing, then you get the early adopters. And now you get 13.5% and 2%. That's 16%. That's called jumping the gap, the chasm. And then this is when the floodgates open, folks. And you guys are here with us. We need to get over here. And we need to do it in an efficient manner. These guys, the laggards, I talked to a guy yesterday. He's still got a flip phone. He's still there. No lie. Really nice doc. But so you're an elite squad. This is what you want to talk about. You're an elite squad of providers across North America. And this is what it looked like in 2020. This is what it looks like now. Okay? And it's a team effort. And this is what it's about, right? This movement is about taking our broken healthcare system and taking it from bad to good. That's all we have to do. That's the mission. Are you ready? I don't know. I start having the doctor imagine these patients and what it can do for their practice, refer out less, take care of more difficult cases. Even 1 year later, best thing I ever did. It helped my foot. I was able to return to work. I took the gamble, and it was worth every penny. So these are patients, but I have them for doctors too, right? Their launch day You got to get them excited. There's really their training day. We're one of the only medical device companies that come out there, especially in the SoftWave sector, that are going to be there for 4 hours. We're going to see 10 to 14 patients every 15 minutes. Oh, I schedule them every 30 minutes. No, that's not how we do it. We do it every 15 minutes because you want to show them how fast this works and how quickly these people respond. Why do you think people are getting better when we do this? See, I have a hypothesis, and people will question me, and they've questioned me for years. But I believe that these supersonic sound waves are flushing out the inflammation that's been laying stagnant in that joint space and that surrounding tissue. And then all of a sudden, when they get up and move, they're like, huh, we didn't stimulate stem cells that fast. I mean, something's happening. But that's what's happening, I believe. Don't ask me for the research. Ask Stacy, she knows. I want you to assemble the worst of your worst patients. I tell them, and we line them up, and we work, and we train them. You know, don't take it from me. Dr. O'Malley has the best line. He says, listen, I'm not here to debate who's got the best shockwave device. All I can tell you is that I've got 3 of these. And if you're doing sports medicine in 2020, you need this technology. That's it. This helps me sell 10 a year. That little goofy slide that I made. The more you learn, the more you earn, the less you work. The more you learn, the fact that you invested and came to this event this last 2 days is going to put you in a different niche, okay? A different area. And, you know, here's my doctors. I made $50,000 in my first 2 months. Woohoo! I get these texts every other day. I did 50,000. Oh, this is the same one, Josh. but gross revenue. This is Dr. Neal in a town of 3,000 people. I did 41,000 from June 1st to September 1st. Oh, no, he did 89,000 total is what he did. I have hundreds and hundreds of these. Right? I could go on and talk about how Kyle Bowers did 500,000 the first 2 years. Corey did 41,000. Dr. Jeff May. The guys who do really well, guess what we do? We make them trainers. You know what? I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but what I'm good at is I see stuff before others, and I know talent. And I go into a training, and I see a doctor who has just got it down and say what I'm saying, and I go back to Kendall and Liz. I'm like, this guy needs to be a trainer. And they sign him up. Dr. Todd did 64,000. He did 27 grand his first day. Dr. George pre-sold 35,000. He's got 2 devices now. 25,000. These guys did over 122,000 in the first 7 days. And they dress like this all the time. Just kidding. Dr. Stacy and Nate Bloom. This is from Pablo Picasso. The meaning of life is to find out your gift. Find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. John Warlick, Alan LaRossi, Joe Tate, Liz Keener, Allie Hendrickson, Daniel Kirkland, Lisa Mitchell. We donated a device to Life University, the largest. This is November of 2022. We donated a device, and every student is going to have access to bring their patients through, and it's been working. So time is the new currency. You know, 95% of our customers rate our devices high quality. The average American lives to be 79 years old, okay? Let's do some calculations. Me personally, I would have lived to 90, right? God willing. And you have 24 hours in the day. I sleep only 7 hours, my Oura Ring says, right? I work 10. And that leaves me 8 hours to really spend with my family or the people I love. If you extrapolate that over your lifetime, that's basically 1/3 of your life you're sleeping, 1/3 of your life you're working, 1/3 of your life you have time to spend with people you love and care about, okay? Remember that. I'm on the back 9 of this. I'm hoping I'm on hole number 10 or 11, but you never know, right? So every day is a blessing. And that's how I live it. And the other thing you can look at is, what are you making an hour? That's important to know because time management's important. 72% of our doctors find our device highly effective for acute conditions. How come I'm not famous? There's a famous TikTok that says this. It's like, because you're not sharing my posts. This guy says it. So what are the 4 things that you do really well? Let's find that out. You know, what I realized was my gift is that I'm really good at educating patients, and I translated that over to educating doctors. And you can do the same thing. Like you, today, when we leave, it's like the Yellow Brick Road. What was that movie, right? What's the Wizard of Oz, right? Today, Kim, I give you a heart, you know? You get a certificate of, you know, that's what you guys are getting today. When you leave out of here, you're going to go spread the word and make this work. So I educate and build trust. Even though a lot of people don't like me, and I'm sorry, I'm got that type of personality. And you know, at one point, I did not have the balance. You know, all I wanted to do was prove people wrong. And they're like, you can't sell this $75,000 device. Well, you know, I went on a mission to prove a lot of people wrong. And I didn't really have balance. And I steamrolled over people and competitors and even coworkers. And sometimes you have to pull back, right, the pedal from the metal, and really kind of get balance back in your life. So it became somewhat all-encompassing for me, and I'm hoping to have better balance. But the top 3 things is make it easy to pay this off. As soon as they sign, I start the virtual training. I tell them, hey, we got a basic certification course. You'll start that over the weekend. You know, you're getting them buying into it. Less time, more money. That's what people want. This is the secret. We're running out of time, and I'll be around to ask questions after. But this is the key. I created the less is more. I don't do 1,500 pulses. I might do 4,000 pulses for a care plan. I changed the frequency down to 2.5. It goes out slower. And this is the key. Take a picture of it. Know it. Because if they're charging $125 for 500 pulses, that will make them $87,000 per probe. Times 3 is $262,000. This is how I sell it. There's no secret thing. I just let them know, I'm on this road with you. I'm going to be here. You're not just you're buying a device. You're getting a whole team of consulting and experts and KOLs and different things. And this is what it works. This is how it works. So what's your vision? Oh, hold on. If we create enough innovation, the suffering will find us. So what's your vision? I see a world where tens of thousands of people are treated every day with SoftWave. I see each device helping these people live without drugs, cortisone, and surgery. I see thousands of SoftWave clinics making millions of dollars per year, just like McDonald's does. It's coming. Each giving back a small percentage to really change our healthcare from mediocre to one of greatness. This is how you make an eternal impact. John Warlick will be remembered. I used to kid to him because the founder, they typically don't make the money. It's their children that have it all, right? And so, but he is making an eternal impact on our community. This is my lovely family, and John Warlick. You know, my career and reputation as a doctor has been greatly enhanced by the relationship I have with John Warlick and the fact that he believed in me and gave me a shot. He's giving every single one of you a shot as well. Okay? What's that Hamilton song? I don't want to lose my shot, right? Or whatever. Don't lose it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. That was Abraham Lincoln. I had already written this. Shodden had something very similar to this. Right now, some of you are sitting on a great idea, great action, and you just gotta take action. You gotta step forward. Hold on.
Go for it.
What's happened? Seriously? Oh my gosh. I can bend over. I haven't been able to bend over in almost 2 years.
Good.
Wow.
It worked.
We're gonna fix this.
We're gonna fix this.
It worked. Oh my God. How long is it gonna last?
How cute. People will remember 6% of the facts and data, but they'll remember 94% of the way they felt with you. I'm closing because this talk is dedicated to a man we lost a few years ago. He was Chief Information Officer. He was the glue to this company. We lost him during COVID. I think he was 49 years old. And John Warlick says it best. He goes, if I had to start a company, this guy was the man, because he was a jack of all trades, and he helped us so much. And this is what John said to us. And one of the saddest moments ever, learning of Matt Coleman's death. I love Matt. He loved me more. He loved everyone more. He was the most Christ-like person I knew. He was too good a person for this earth. He only knew kindness. The only thing I know to do is honor his life through our lives going forward. I will live a better life for Matt. TRT will be successful to honor Matt. And we must all honor Matt through our lives and deeds. I love you, Matt. Thank you. Any questions? I'm sorry I'm such a baby, but I'm passionate about this. And it's not about how many sales we get. It's about bringing this technology to more people. And that's the mission you guys have. Thank you.